Welcome everyone to another Planet Coaster 2 video. In today's video we are going to look specifically at the coasters that have been shown during the Frontier Unlocked a couple days ago. And now over here they are going to play some rides down and we're going to look at a couple of things. First of all, let's stop over here. In this video we are going over the menu and all these things that we got to learn over coasters. It's not in specific something we wanted to know because the builder we haven't seen, just as a spoiler and to be very precise, but there are a couple of things I noticed that we need to talk about. And first things first, we can see all the different variants of coasters. They already have shown them in here. We will see a better glance at this later, but this icon means chain lift. Then we have over here the wing coasters, we've got the steel coasters, the wooden coasters, so splash coasters, launch coasters, suspended coasters, and others. So very nice to see that, and we can see they have 4 different blueprints ready over here, but there are already more coaster types in here, which we're going to look at in a second. Now, very interestingly, when they placed this down, there were a couple of things to notice. So for example, when you place them down, you can now see that there is the energy requirement icon on top of it. So nothing too crazy, but you can also see for putting them down, you've got different options. You can put them down with the normal move tool. You can also use the advanced move tool and you can rotate this, obviously. I do guess that the scaling option over here that you can see enabled is not enabled because the scaling icon over here is disabled. So that may actually be a little glitch in the early version they are running this on, because it doesn't make any sense that a coaster is scalable. I just assume that is because the engine is able to scale now different items, that this may be the thing. However, this is not the most interesting bit, because the most interesting bit, we've seen also that in the blueprints for coasters now the pathing and queue is included, which I think is a big win. And now the next thing we're going to look at, while we have some image errors over here, is actually the coaster itself. Now, I want to quickly take the chance and let's quickly have a look at the movement of the coaster. So again, we haven't seen the coaster editor, but what we have seen is now this coaster placed down, and we can now see the coaster going through the layout. Now, follow the car closely and have a look how it behaves on the track. I know it's a little bit more of an advanced thing now to look at, but I have a better example later in this video where we can clearly see that they have changed something tremendously over the coaster builder. If you guys have played Roller Coaster Tycoon World, I know it's a stretch, but if you guys have played that, you potentially have seen the coaster builder, and if anything, this was the one thing that had potential in this game, because it was a node-based coaster builder that had actually its strong points over the coaster builder of Planet Coaster. And I don't want to say this is a confirmation over here of continuous roll, but the way the coaster shapes over here, this short one, and the way the coaster car behaves, especially over this airtime hill going into the right-hand side, and now how this last portion of the ride bends, at least with my skill, was almost impossible to achieve in Planet Coaster. And I've just recently played the game Coaster Studio, which comes with a fully node-based system like in No Limits 2, and I found this, at first it was a bit of a tedious thing, but as soon as I got the grips of it, it's just so much better because you build one continuous coaster. Now, this over here looks like one continuous coaster track, and like if you look at the coasters in Planet Coaster, for example, also the ones that I built, it always was a bit of a, you could see that some pieces were put together and then the transition wasn't done perfectly. That's why we needed to smooth so many things. So either they have found a way to smooth insanely great in this game, or to just have a continuous track, maybe even node-based. And I have a tiny bit of an idea that there may be a chance to actually make this, to actually have a node-based system. Maybe they have a split system that you can use the piece by piece if you want to, or use a node-based system if you're advanced, because we've seen the same approach in the brand new pathing. They do use now a node-based system for the pathing, while they do still have the option of the piece by piece click version we had in the previous game if you want this. So look at the coaster go through here again. I'm gonna leave the footage play because they will plop down a second coaster that basically confirms my thoughts of how the coaster layout is done, because this one over here, as unrealistic as it is, does show you what I mean by the way how the coaster track bends. I mean, look at the layout of this coaster. This is obviously is not is not the most realistic in the world, also a bit of a too compact one, but just look at how the coaster track bends over, like all these kind of things, like especially this crest over here. How the hell would you have been able to do that in Planet Coaster? I mean, yeah, it kind of would have worked, but wouldn't you have noticed way more of a segue from one element into the other? But anyways, it just kind of caught me off guard, because I looked at the coaster layouts and I was like, something feels odd, something feels different from what I'm used to in Planet Coaster, and it definitely is a good step ahead, no matter how they achieve this, because they actually tiptoed around showing us how the coaster builder itself works. But looking at this layout over here, oh my god, this is really something nice, like a noodly layout over here. Like also how the coaster train now goes through the layout looks very good. And now looking at this coaster over here, this is the one that really got me into thinking. Now look at the layout over here, and there's a, you know, we are going to get closer to it in a second, but I found this very interesting because of the way the layout works, and it almost looks like as if someone who isn't really familiar with a node-based system kind of dragged out a coaster with the node-based system, because I am such a person. I'm a very inexperienced node-based system builder, and this is exactly how my coaster layouts would look like. So let's actually go forward, because they have a better, yeah, there you go, there's a better view of this coaster. There you go. Now, as you can see now, the coaster is launching into the layout, and, you know, this first element looks kind of nice, but this soon, wait, actually, let's go back a little. I think we get it. Yeah, there you go. This is the better view. You can see specifically the parts over here after that roll, how this track over here works, and also this track, how it just kind of behaves through here. Sure, you can build this somehow in Planet Coaster, but it just looks so much more like someone just drew that thing through here and then just use the node system to drag this thing, for example, to the left-hand side a bit more. So, you know, I don't want to go too much into confirming it, because that's not possible, simply because they haven't really showed it. But in general, it just looks so much better, especially how this roll over here looks so much more continuous, so much more nice. And I have hope that they have found a way to make this absolutely great looking and also working just fine. I cannot wait, guys, to see how the coaster builder itself will be looking in the finished version, and at least at Gamescom I will be able to play it, and I will obviously give you all the insights I can draw from that, which, you know, I hope there will be many. Just looking at the next coaster they placed down, unfortunately, again, there's not really too much to take out of this, because they have been very good at hiding these things. I mean, you can see placing the exit and entrance, and yes, we already know that you have at least an option to build a either way, it's a priority pass queue or a single rider lane. We don't really know, and by the way, simply because they opened it now, you can see that this is the new pathing, in case you haven't seen my other video, which definitely is kind of node based, as you can tell, and it's definitely different. So maybe this is the way how the coaster works. As you can see, this is the way, and the second icon to the right here is basically where you can use the old system, so click 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 and so on, you know, piece by piece. So that's why this is a very interesting bit to look at. Now, moving forward a little, because first of all, they showed some pathing, which is not really too interesting for us now, but this is the more interesting part for us. This is the custom coaster train editor, and I've talked about this already, and people didn't really believe me because I was not able to show you any footage of it. Now we do have the attached scenery footage, and this is what happens. As soon as you type this in, you'll be greeted basically with the scenery items that are off-grid, so non-grid pieces will be available to you. And as soon as you basically take some of those and you want to attach them to your coaster train, and you'll see that in a second, they are going to click next to your train. And the coolest bit about this is that actually you can see now these areas highlight where you can stick them on, and you have different options. And on the right hand side, you can already tell there's a new tab, which is setting icons. We are getting to that in a second. But now you can see they are placing the item next to the coaster train, and you would be wondering, okay, what the hell is he doing? This thing would now hit the ground, and what's going on here? Now, the fun bit is you can obviously scale this. You can put it wherever you want. And let's say you want to not only scale this, but you want to have this on all sides of the coaster and also on the other coaster car. And you're thinking already, oh my god, now I need to put them onto every single, you know, seat, and that's gonna be very tedious and it's gonna take me some time. No, you don't. And the reason why you don't, by the way, this is the scaling in action. As you can see, it works just fine with your coaster trains too, which I think is absolutely beautiful. So you can just click it here to the left or right. You can change obviously the color, so everything you would expect. And now zooming forward a little, this is where the fun begins, because now you have a settings tab, and in the settings tab you can either click symmetry type mirrored, which to me is already crazy. You do have a mirror option. So basically this piece over here is automatically mirrored to the other side. So you're gonna move this piece, everything will be moving with it. I'm not sure, I think they will show this now. Yeah, there you go. You now move this piece up and down, and the other side will move up and down too. But there's even more. You can not only do this, but you can also say in the settings, hey, I want to twin this to all the other cars. And as you can see, bam, they are basically plopping to all the other cars. I mean, look at this, isn't that great? And down here, affect all trains, in this case is off, but you can obviously turn that on, and then the other cars of the other trains of your coaster will automatically receive the same treatment too. Now they click it on, and basically there you can see the lamps in the background are attached to it too. Now these changes we've seen alone, for me, basically are already a big win. By the way, just for confirmation reasons, because I briefly touched upon that, I just want to quickly show you that there will be 3 entrances. Let me just quickly show there. It's in here. There you go. You can see 1, 2, 3. Entrance pieces. The one is the exit. This one over here, from the looks of the ground, may actually be a single rider queue, and the other one was a classic queue. So you do have that, and I'm very much assuming, but we haven't seen that in action, but I do think I saw that in the demo, that there is still priority pass available too. So yet even more variants to do this, and as you've seen in the footage as well, and let me confirm that also by going back to it, just so you do believe me. Obviously now we do not have our ugly entrance booth thingies anymore with our vendors or our staff members down here. You can see this is now a fully easy entrance now, without anyone standing there or controlling or whatnot. So that is pretty damn good, making customization so much more easy. So I really would love to talk more about coasters and go into a deep dive of the coaster builder. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that, but obviously you can expect me to go over that anytime we are given more info about that. So I'm very excited to see that. Also, I'm loving this element, a completely new element that we haven't seen in Planet Coaster so far. Really in love with that, and it just gives me hope that we will have more extra elements in here. And one thing that I did promise you guys is the custom coaster builder with the different coaster types. I'm just going to zoom to it. I'm not entirely sure where exactly that was. Alright, I did actually do a little cut, so you find this. It was just a very brief moment where they showed us the overview of the coasters if you build your own coaster. And as you can see over here, I stopped the video. There you can see all the different types that we have in the game currently. Just as an info, this is the Gamescom version, so a limited version even of this build. So in here you can see we've got chain lift, launched, alternate lift, suspended, wooden, wing, water, and special, which is kind of cool. And also, you can see that we have different rides already available in here, which is for once the inverted flying coaster, a sit-down 4-seater, a splash coaster, a star loop, a wave coaster, a wooden coaster, and another wooden coaster. So that is very good to see. Again, nothing too special. It's good to see that we have already quite some nice variants in the game. We definitely know that there's one missing, at least one missing. Because there is this big hypercoaster that we've seen on some screenshots already. So yeah, definitely is something good to know, but not, you know, not too specific, because we will see the full roster when it is that far. Anyways, I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this overview of the coaster, specifically everything we could get from the live stream. And I do hope that by now maybe we have even some more info. So I'm very sorry if there was some more info dropping. I'm on holiday now, so I needed to prepare everything basically the evening after the feature drop. So yeah, here we are. I really do hope you guys found that interesting. And I do have my computer with me, so maybe I'll cover some more stuff. But yeah, for the moment being, that's been it. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this little look into the coaster builder itself. I'm gonna cover more in the coming days, and I wish you guys a wonderful time. Stay safe, and obviously subscribe if you haven't already. You know the drill. Maybe we get these 100k even before. Also, I'm just noticing, wait a sec. Okay, hold on for a sec. What the heck? People are queuing randomly over here without a queue towards this flat ride. That is a new feature I've not seen. So you get an exclusive from me. That is insane, because that is exactly what we need. If you don't have a dedicated queue, people will exactly do this. That's kind of realistic, honestly. Anyways, that's been it with an extra. See you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.